Hello.
What's up, everybody? It's Erin.
And Nicole. This is Dude, That's Fucked Up.
I thought I was going to sneeze right before we started recording, but it didn't happen, so I'm all goofy right now.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Who would have predicted?
Oh, my God.
We're
going to be
have so many bad puns, right? Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah,
I knew that's what you were going to say. Oh, bitch!
Oh my God, you guys, this episode, we're going to be talking so much shit. It's going to be real wild.
Yeah.
But before we get into it, do we have any business?
Do you just want to show off your merch? Yeah. Oh my God. Suck yeah. Okay. This mug being featured. I'm gonna do it like an infomercial, okay?
Like a QVC.
Everyone. Okay, I just want you to take notice of how comfortable the handle is on our favorite things mug. Erin showing you it's weightless. The only thing that you have to keep up with is the contents of it. And you know what? That's gonna go away if it's tasty. Oh, yes. She just drew our attention to the buttholes heart with the arrow through it. That is designed by Close Call Studio exclusively for the DTFU podcast. And if you'll also note, she's turning it side to side. There is so much to look at and enjoy here. Doesn't it just feel comfortable in your hand?
This is a nice feel, like hand feel.
Yeah.
I could fit all 4 fingers and my thumb on top of the handle. It's perfect. It's the perfect handle. This is what my dad is always talking about when he picks up a mug.
Yes.
He's always like, yes, this is
Handles.
a good handle.
It handles
solid
well.
Handle. It handles well. So.
And I would just like to say, it just complements your vibe so well. It just, oh my goodness. Your complexion with that mug, gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. It's very French. It's very sidewalk cafe. It's a moment.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I feel very cozy drinking out of it. It says HERF on it also.
It says HERF and buttholes.
And there's an Illuminati triangle with an eye. Mm-hmm. A jar of potion.
That's a beer can.
Oh, it's a beer can.
Or a jar of potion, I guess, depending on if you enjoy an adult beverage or not.
Maybe it's mead.
Oh, maybe it's a nice kombucha.
Maybe it's a canned kombucha.
What a treat.
And then there's also a centipede on it. So
yes, for a creepy crawly kind of vibe. Also,
love it.
For those of you listening, we are describing in detail our favorite things mug, which is available exclusively at DTFUpodcast.com. So please, it is not limited edition.
Nope.
You can buy as many as you'd like, but they are selling out quickly.
Yeah. They're selling out. They're shipping out quickly.
They're shipping out quick. They're printing and shipping out quickly. So you'll want to get yours as soon as possible.
Absolutely. Highly recommend. Love the hand feel of this mug.
Yeah, it handles well.
We have a Patreon. It's very, very fun.
Hell yeah. Fucking exclu. We have a Discord. And, you
didn't think we had that. I don't know.
We're so young and cool.
We are young. We're hip. We got the Discord.
Yeah, it's so much fun. Honestly, I really check it so much. I'm in Discord all day. I don't know if anyone knows that, but
I'm popping in and out.
I'm in other Discords. I'm just fucking chatting it up.
It's great.
Promoting our podcast and other Discords and shit. So
I'm posting pics and videos of my cats.
Mm-hmm. Your nasty, dirty cat that was all sooty.
Stupid idiot Tommy.
Oh my God.
He's an alley cat, so he has like a different view on life, I think. And he gets scared easily, so he hides in random places. He's skittish, yeah.
Yeah.
So if he hears a voice he doesn't know, like if somebody comes in our house where he's just like, who the fuck is that? He'll hide
in the fireplace.
And he chose to hide in the fireplace this past week. So super cool for.
Is that your fucked up of the week, or do you have something else?
Yeah, I guess that's my fucked up of the week. Just, cats hiding in the fireplace and then tromping all through your clean house.
Ugh. No, thank you.
You just mop the floor and it's like, here comes the boy, the sooty boy. Oh my God. Here comes the
boy.
Boy. I like that version of it.
Oh my God. I like, let's hear it for the boys.
Yeah. So
unrelated, but cool.
Yeah. So this stupid idiot fucking cat, he just had soot all over him and he's just filthy.
I've never heard that version.
Oh, I'll send it to you. It's like a witch version. It's like,
oh, that's cool.
Boy. Here he comes. There he goes. It's really
that's
funny.
good.
Really good.
Yeah. You're like a Sanderson sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great.
My fucked up of the week, I have so many to choose from, but I'm going to pick this because, well, I'll just say I'm having to wear my retainers full time for like 2 weeks because like my shit's moving, like my jaw's moving from my sleep apnea device. It's shitty. Anyway.
Oh no.
So, but I'm not wearing the bottom right now because then I can barely talk. But my fucked up thing of the week is we went on like a quick little road trip. And it was kind of long, and we had to stay in a hotel one night to break it up.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and so the key card wasn't working. Like we had to be let into our rooms. Like the machine wasn't working for days. These poor people. And then we get to our destination, and we stay in a hotel again, different hotel, obviously, different town, and basically, what I want to tell everyone is everywhere is understaffed. And just, like, keep that in mind if you're planning on going somewhere. Because, like, we were staying in, like, mid-tier hotels. I feel like if we were in a luxury situation, maybe it would have been different. But that's not how we travel. And so we were just, like, in a regular old hotel. And the one we stayed at, when we were at our destination, the next morning I woke up. And I didn't look at both pillows before I went to bed. And I woke up, and in the middle of the night, I had moved the top pillow. And first of all, they smelled weird. I know. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. I just want to let everyone know that's listening.
I'm backing away from
Yeah, she's backing away. She's
computer.
Taking a very large sip of her drink. She's getting mentally prepared. I woke up the next morning, and yeah, the pillow smelled weird. I don't think this has anything to do with it, but it just like added to the ick factor. I looked on my pillow, and there's a blood stain.
Oh, Christ.
I was not bleeding. It was not my blood. It was not my blood stain. I want to say sizable, but it wasn't like a crime scene or anything. It was like a dime. Someone had like picked their face or something and went to bed. And then I don't think they changed it. Because it was like, I don't know. You know, they put so much bleach and stuff when they like wash the sheets and stuff. I feel like it would at least have removed some coloring. It was like a nice dark brown. Oof. Reddish dark brown. So Pete, bless his heart, we were like going out for the day, and I was like, I can't even explain this to the front desk without gagging. Can you take it to them and ask them if they could please like just service our room? So we come back later that night, and I had like left wet towels on the bed because I'm like, well, if they're coming anyway, like we'll get fresh towels, blah, blah. Come back. Wet towels are still there. No one's come in. And Pete went downstairs, and they were just to get a new pillowcase. Like, obviously, we weren't going to get it. We were so tired. We needed to go to bed. And so I'm like, can you please just get me a new pillowcase? And that's fine. And so we went downstairs, and I think he just got me a whole new pillow. And he came back, and he's like, yeah, they said, we're so sorry. 3 of our maids didn't come to work today.
Oh, man.
No one was working this hotel. Like, the whole time we were there, it was so hard to, like, get a hold of anybody. It was so hard to get anything. Like, dude, it was brutal.
Everybody still has COVID, okay? Like,
everybody,
it's still a thing.
And, like, you know, like, people just don't want to work for minimum wage or whatever. Like, people do not want to be cleaning up other people's messes for minimum wage.
Blood? Yeah, I'm not cleaning that shit up.
No,
blood.
Yeah. Blood? Yeah, no, like, I totally understand. Mm-hmm. And we were cool about it. Like, we were chill, whatever. Like, I understand.
Totally, yeah.
People,
it's just brutal.
Like, yeah, it's just so brutal. So, that's like my little bit of a warning right now. Like, if you're planning on going on vacation, one, have lots of patience for the people working there because they are fucking exhausted. Because 3 people didn't come into work. Always, but especially now. Even
in the best of times, always have grace and you know, patience for anybody who's working in service.
Have a little more right now, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And lower your expectations on what the situation's going to be. Is it going to be perfectly clean? Probably not. Like, is everything going to be running smoothly? No. There's no way it can. Everyone's understaffed.
Let me just pull out my my life motto. Manage your expectations and you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah. Wait, I heard that there's a really good saying I've heard a few times recently, I think on Armchair Expert, maybe, and it's something about expectations are future resentments.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh.
That's a really better way of saying my motto. Because mine's
it's
like pretty
more pointed.
It's more pointed and it's more graceful, I think. Mine is like more cynical, maybe. But
what's yours again?
Manage your expectations and you'll never be disappointed.
Yeah, I think that speaks to you and your feelings about it. But I think, I think expectations or future regrets is how people like hold on. Oh yeah, our future resentments is how you view others. Yes. In terms of you. Yeah. Both are very good. Both levels set for you and both levels set for probably people who deal with those things differently.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mine is like all on me. You know what I mean? Like my saying is to do with your individual, like,
right.
Going through life.
Expectations.
Yeah.
Generally. Yeah.
Generally. Like an internal solipsistic kind of vibe.
The other one's more like outward.
Yeah. More external. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I like because I tend to position things that way. Like I tend to feel let down when it's like not personal to me.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then that harbors resentment.
That's so good. It's like this. It's like the same vibes, but
same vibes, but just how you look at it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Love both. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have a great segue for this week, but I did want to bring this up because it is a way to plug our Patreon. Okay, so I was on YouTube and. As one is, and normally it's all makeup videos. Sometimes I get some weird shit though, and it's like all makeup and drag queen videos. But one day I got a video recommended to me, and it was some guy whose name was Tyler Henry, and he was like, it was said that he was it was said that he was a celebrity medium, and I'm not going to call him that because it was said he was one, and
self-styled.
Yeah, he was a self-proclaimed celebrity medium. The celebrity part and the medium part, both who's to say. Anyway,
is it a D-list celebrity? Still a celebrity,
right? Yeah. What constitutes a celebrity? Someone knows his name, but it's like he sounds more like a president than a medium, I would say.
Yeah.
Like Tyler Henry, 12th president of the United States.
That's true. That's true.
But he was in conversation with one Melissa Joan Hart. We know her as Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you put any MJH content in front of me, for a second, in my head, I'm like, yeah, Melissa Joan Hart, but then I was also thinking Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I'm like, that's not the right acronym. But anyway, you put any Melissa Joan Hart content in front of me, I'm watching it. I'm sorry. I love her. I watch TGIF every Friday.
Clarissa explains it all.
I mean, you want to take it, OG. Her little brother Ferguson. Everyone wanted a brother like that just to hate him.
Hi, Sam. If you're not a millennial, I'm sorry. Yeah. You might not get that
older
ref.
Millennial even because we were young when that came out. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I watched it. It was questionable, but anyway, and we're not doing our episode on Tyler Henry, but we are gonna talk about this video and more about him behind the paywall, just because I think it's gonna get maybe borderline problematic. Anyway, so check that out. when and if you'd like. It'll be a bonus episode at some point. But it did get us discussing when we were having our meeting this week how police use psychics and how that's like a fucked up weird thing that just like is. And we were like, no, we got to talk about this. So that's how we arrived at the topic today.
I mean, you've seen it in movies, you've read it in books. One of my friends wrote a book about a medium working with law enforcement.
What? Wait, do you want to plug it?
Yeah, my friend Rahaf.
Oh, her latest book, the novel that she wrote?
Yeah, my friend Rahaf. She's an author. She writes about like hustle culture and how it's like really horrible and whatever.
Yeah.
She's like brilliant, but she also wrote a fiction novel called The Knowing, and it's under her pen name Hannah Noble. It's very good. It's on Amazon. You could buy it. And it's about like a psychic working with a detective to solve murders. So this is like in pop culture. This is like a total trope.
Yes, that's a fantasy.
Yes, it's a fantasy. Yeah,
it's a fictional book.
Yeah, but it's a super fun book. Highly recommend. But in real life, psychics or mediums have quote unquote helped law enforcement forever. It's always been a thing. I think when I say forever, I mean for as long as police have been a thing, psychics trying to help them have been a thing.
Oh my
God. When I say helped, I mean so-called psychics most of the time ain't helping anybody but themselves. Okay. So we're going to talk about that specifically. Like, are mediums real? Are they not? We don't know. We can't say. I think maybe there's some people that are very intuitive out there, but there's also some really like misguided people who are out there trying to like insert themselves into, police work. It's just become a detective if that's,
Well, I feel like I can say, and I will say no. Like,
well,
I mean, if you want to believe in that's on you. It's like a faith thing. I think if you want to believe that there's someone out there that can like connect you with a deceased loved one, fine. That's on you. Do I think that there are people that hold these answers? Like, no, I don't. It's the same thing that we run into with like religious stuff, like that's why you have to have faith, because all of this is really underproven, like always and forever. Like sometimes there's coincidences and that's about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's definitely like people out there who are more shrewd about it than others. And then there's just some people who are full on pieces of shit about it and taking advantage.
And that's what it is. It's exploitation of people who are feeling very sad and alone and desperate to maybe reach loved ones who have passed or whatever. And that or find a missing person or whatever. Like
closure.
They're desperate.
Yeah, they're desperate.
And emotional. And it's fucking rude.
So there's not a lot of documentation of psychics being involved with law enforcement because it's always been an unofficial thing, because usually it makes everyone look bad.
There's no like psychic budget in the police budget.
No. And typically like psychics are going directly to the families, or families are reaching out directly to like a known psychic. And while police departments claim they don't seek out or use psychics to solve crimes, they do have to follow up on credible tips. If police don't refute this theory, then, quote, many in the public continue to believe that psychics are secretly employed by law enforcement, according to just, all the data, all the like public opinion,
Yeah.
So like if somebody's like, why didn't you listen to this person who had some information, like any information, it's like they're gonna take a tip. And
that seems
and that's the thing, that's what's so nebulous about it. So
but like if you're like when you call with a hot tip And they're like, okay, and like, can I get your name? And like, what do you do for a living? And the person's like, I'm a medium. Should you have to take that tip?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they're like being that specific, but it's like if it's close enough, if they're like coming in with enough information that is, you know, close enough to some of the details that the police know, then they're going to be like, okay, let's put this in the, because there's like people call in all the time with shit that's just like out of control. But then people call in where it's like, okay, maybe this is a lead. Maybe we need to like go into this. So anyway, it's hard to say. But then if the police say they don't use psychics, then the psychics claim that police don't want to, quote, share the credit, and they're just covering up. So it's just like this thing where you don't want to, like, if you're a detective, like, that's your job. You know, that's your only job. And if you are trying, if you can't crack the case, if you can't like figure out something, then you're not doing your job right. And you would be super embarrassed if anybody found out that you had to like contact a psychic too. It's a lot of ego, it's a lot of weird, you know, but at the same time it's like anything, just anything will help. So it's just like there's, who's to say? We don't have an exact, you know, percentage or real narrowed down number of how many law enforcement agencies or, you know, over time, how many mediums have helped crack a case. Because a police officer is not going to say, like, they're not going to admit to using the help of a psychic usually. Unless it's a crazy situation, but there's really not been very many documented cases of those. So the ones that have been documented are where they get led on wild goose chases. So.
Yeah, well, and I also think like if a psychic or medium called in and was like, "Here's your answer," and it like actually turned out to be the case, like randomly, like that would make it. I think the reason we don't see any of those is that because that doesn't happen.
Well, and like, often, it's like. A lot of people are finding information about the victim, you know, especially in this day and age where it's like a lot of stuff is on the internet. Like if I went missing, there's a huge digital footprint that you've left behind. Yeah, exactly. That anyone could mine. I mean, there's hours. There's literally how many episodes? 280. There's like over 280 hours of us talking about our personal lives and other things. So if anybody claims to be a psychic saying they know my whereabouts and like being like, Erin loves buttholes or something, they'd be like,
she's in a butthole.
Yeah. Like, don't
and listen. She's alive.
Don't listen. Yeah. Don't listen to that psychic.
She's in the butthole of America.
Yeah.
Kansas. No, I don't know. I don't know the butthole of America. I don't think I've ever been to Kansas. Okay, I do want to say, so it's all, okay. You're saying like there haven't been like a lot of studies where cops have like admitted that psychics have helped them crack a case or whatever. I think there have been.
I'm not saying studies. I'm saying like where it's like it's reported that a psychic worked on this case in tandem with the law enforcement.
I see.
So we don't have those numbers or success rate, I should say.
Yeah. Well, there have been reports done by the National Criminal Justice Reference Service. The report I found is pretty old though, so like, you know, and it had some numbers. They weren't good. But this is, I just wanted to read this annotation. It's a 5-page report. It's called Psychics and Police Work. And there was just this like annotation. I didn't look at the actual report because you have to like, you know, it's behind it's like government or whatever. I couldn't, there's no report. It was just like the description of the report.
Oh, I read a CIA report about it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, there's a Freedom of Information like website you could go to, and they like have it on there.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this one I couldn't look at it, but this was the annotation about it. The usefulness of psychics in police investigations is controversial, but psychics have long been and will undoubtedly continue to be involved in unsolved criminal investigations. And I thought that was the shadiest.
Like, I think flies on shit. They will continue to be there.
Also, we can't speak to psychics and their involvement in solved cases, but we will say that they continue to be involved in unsolved cases. It's like, what a coincidence.
Unsolved.
Oh, you don't
still
say.
Unsolved.
Oh my God.
So shady.
I know. And this was 30 years ago now, but, and like things may have changed, but in that it did say explicitly in the report that the FBI does not hire psychics and did not plan to at the time. So like this is all kind of relegated to local police work. Like, you know, I think when it comes to like the CIA, I don't know what the report said, but like when it comes to the CIA, the FBI, like larger intelligence agencies and you know, people that are cracking huge cases, they're not fucking around with this shit.
No. I mean, okay, if I was psychic and I really felt the urge to help look for missing people, whatever,
go find them.
I would go and work for the FBI. Like I would get a job like working for the FBI, and I would be the most like fucking senior person at the FBI or the CIA or whatever. Because
you'd just be solving cases.
Because I'd be psychic and I'd be like, yeah, duh, I know everything. You know what I mean? Or I'd be...
Yeah. And when they question like, oh my God, how are you so good? You'd be like, I go with my gut.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
But honestly,
intuition.
Honestly, intuition is a very real thing. And I think a lot of people who, you know, maybe are self-proclaimed psychics, mediums, are very in tune with, you know, the intuitive part of their brains. And I think that's real. I really do. I feel like I'm a pretty intuitive person. That's why I think I'm risk averse because of that.
Yeah.
But some would say risk averse. Some would just say
smart with common sense. But
common
don't you think that that's what intuition is? Common sense.
Yeah.
Intuition is being a very good critical thinker. That's all intuition is. You can like understand how things work and kind of like quickly make sense of it. I feel like.
That, but also like some things I'm just like, I have a weird feeling and I can't like say anything. I like it doesn't, and I don't know.
But I think that's just because our brains are so deep. Like you're just
it's like
aware.
A lizard brain thing.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Like
totally.
know, if you like took 5 minutes and you wrote down or something like in those moments what was weird to you about a situation, the information would be there, and that's what detectives are good at.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, a good detective can like take a second and like kind of do a 360 type thing and understand like what's out of place, what feels weird, and then follow that.
Yeah.
And that's all I think intuition is. It's not some like magic thing, I don't think. But
yeah,
maybe that's just me.
Well, all magic is science that hasn't been explained yet. So
there you go.
Or
illusions or sleight of hand.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so though we couldn't talk about this topic of psychics and mediums without bringing up the biggest fraud of all time, Miss Sylvia Browne, this fucking bitch. Fuck.
Bane of my fucking teen afternoon existence. Okay, it's like you come home, there's a talk show on, she's on it. I can't roll my eyes hard enough. I'm like, I just want to see paternity tests. I just want to see fucking favorite things. Get me out of here.
Yeah, bitch, I'm trying to like be like, you bullied me in high school and look how hot I am.
Yeah. Like or like I'm scared of corn, and then they're like, here's corn.
Yeah. Exactly. And then this fucking asshole comes on TV and you're like, God, this shit again. I don't want to watch this bitch. Sylvia Browne.
I'll do my fucking homework.
Yeah, God. This woman was a self-proclaimed psychic, quote unquote, psychic medium who frequently made pronouncements that were later found to be false, including those related to missing persons.
You don't say.
This shit is so fucking heinous. Okay. despite her harmful fuckery, she was still invited to be a regular guest on television and radio shows, including the Montel Williams Show and Larry King Live and, you know, a slew of other like daytime talk shows.
Yeah.
She also hosted an hour-long online radio show on Hay House Radio. And she remained pretty famous until her death in 2013. So I'm going to be extremely disrespectful right now and say this trash ass moron didn't even predict her own death properly. I'm sorry. It's fucked up to laugh about it, but I'm going to be very disrespectful.
Why is it fucked up, dude? She made her fucking living off of telling people she knew she could see the future, and this bitch died 10 years early.
Okay, I hate this bitch, so I don't even feel bad. She literally went on Larry King Live in 2003 and predicted she would die at the age of 88. But she died in 2013 at the age of 77.
Oh my God.
When I tell you I guffawed at this shady ass tidbit it was a list of her quote false predictions. This was like in the list. I was dying.
Own death?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
This stupid idiot. Okay.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say her Wikipedia page. So like I checked out her Wikipedia page. The list of false predictions on her page is second only behind the list of books she fucking probably self-published. No, she probably had help with them.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't scream self-made fraud, I don't know what does. So I think it's perfectly fine if we shit all over her.
Oh no, I'm gonna tell you some of the worst things she did.
Okay.
They're so bad. She sucks, dude.
Oh, I was gonna say also, speaking of Larry King, I just want to call out this like hero, like my new hero, who we should absolutely do an episode on. One of her biggest and most vocal skeptics was a magician named James Randi, which sounds ridiculous, but he was more of a magician from the sleight of hand angle of things. He didn't believe in like real magic or anything, but he founded what was called the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry, and basically he spent his life challenging and debunking pseudoscience bullshit. Yes. And he was on the Larry King show, and he had been challenging people famously. He challenged this guy Peter Popoff on the Johnny Carson show and debunked him as a faith healer. Like he was like, you're using some sort of energy like thing. Like you have a device, I can prove it. And he fucking debunked it on Johnny Carson. So that was a long time ago. And so like he kept this work up for a long time, and then he was on Larry King, and Larry King's like, what about debunking this woman Sylvia Browne? And he's like, yes, I want to debunk her, like she is wild. And she agreed to it, and then she just kept like avoiding him until she died. But then
maybe that's why she died early, because she didn't want to get debunked by him.
I can't do this for 11 more years. What I love about this man, though, he's so petty that after the first time she said she'd do it and she was like evading him, he put on his fucking GeoCities website or whatever it was at the time, not a countdown, but a count up clock where like it was calculating all the time that had passed since she said she would do it and she hadn't.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's so fucking petty. I love it.
I love him. He died in 2020, but he made it to like 97, 98, bitch.
Oh,
and she didn't see that coming.
God bless. She didn't see that shit coming.
Nope, she didn't.
Oh my God. Well, I'll tell you why this bitch is in hell right now, because and I don't feel bad about talking shit on her.
She sucks.
In 2002, she told the parents of 11-year-old Sean Hornbeck, who had disappeared earlier that year, that he'd been kidnapped by a dark-skinned Hispanic man with dreadlocks and was now deceased.
Oh.
He was found alive in 2007, and his kidnapper was a Caucasian and short-haired man. Not only was she loud and wrong, she was also racist as fuck.
Oh my God.
I literally just the worst. Imagine telling a distraught family this shit to their faces, like saying to somebody's face, no, sorry, your son's dead and a Mexican kidnapped and killed him. Like literally, like she said that to them. it's on site for me when I find out, like when my son comes back home and she's still alive. I would just tear her apart. I'd be in jail.
Terrorize her. I'd
go on Larry King and predict her death. It's the moment she sees my face.
Oh my God.
So she said this like on an episode of Montel Williams to this family's face. And so this shit was so heinous that in June of 2008, the UK television network ITV2 was sanctioned by Ofcom for re-airing the episode of the Montel Williams show, which featured this episode of her predicting this to the family. This episode was literally so offensive and wrong that the UK government was like, no love. Fuck off. No love.
My God. Yeah. They were like, they're like, listen, we have a whole newspaper where we publish trash, and this is offensive.
It's called the Daily Mail. Okay.
It's called the Daily Mail. It is salacious. We tell so many lies in there. We've actually killed one of our own princesses, but this is just too heinous to re-air.
Yeah. Like, get this trash off the air.
Yeah. They're like, it's bad when we say it's bad.
That's bad. That's bad. They're like, who's like, I don't know.
Oh my God.
And then she did that shit again in November of 2004. Browne told the mother of kidnapping victim Amanda Berry, who had disappeared 19 months earlier, quote, "She's not alive, honey."
Oh no.
She also claimed that that Amanda Berry was, quote, in water, and that she had a vision of Berry's jacket in the garbage with, quote, DNA on it. What the fuck does that mean? And then
like blood.
Yeah, like probably blood or something. Yeah. And Amanda Berry's mother died 2 years later in 2006, believing that her daughter had been killed. Spoiler, Amanda Berry was found alive in May of 2013. She was one of the guy remember the
the guy with the basement?
Yeah.
She like ran out from the basement and like flagged down a neighbor.
And two other God, what was that guy's name? Anyway, it was an insane story.
Oh my God.
And like the one or two of them had been like impregnated by him.
Right.
It was
Wait, and when did Sylvia die? In 2013 also? Yeah. I wonder if she was alive though when that woman was freed.
Yeah, I don't know. That was a crazy, crazy thing though.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so this her mom died thinking she was dead. I wonder, God. Like
that's sad.
it's so sad.
I mean, she probably would have died thinking she's dead anyway because she was missing. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe people die of broken hearts,
Yeah, people die of broken hearts.
People die of broken hearts.
No, it's fucked up. I mean, it's fucked up. Those things are like separate.
Sylvia Browne is in hell for this shit, okay?
Yeah, she was. I mean, the fact that you have the gall to just like go fucking lie to these people's faces, and it's people. Okay, whatever. I think it's fair to say that if she hadn't died, she probably wouldn't have been able to predict COVID, and she probably would have been on one of her cruises. She would have been on like one of her cruises when COVID hit, and she would have died on one of those cruises where she was charging people thousands of dollars to like give them psychic readings anyway.
Woo,
and that
bitch.
would have been a blessing as well. But like, dude, she sucked. And yeah,
absolute trash.
It's so aggravating that people just for attention are out here just blatantly lying to people, knowing full and well, unless they have some sort of like, mental illness where they think they can talk to people, which maybe, but otherwise these people are just lying, and it's upsetting.
So yeah, it's just a lot of people who want to be involved somehow in something bigger than them, I think.
Sure.
So of course, when very public disappearances happen, because this happens all the time. This is like Sylvia Browne is just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
So like when very public disappearances happen, aka when white girls or white women go missing, people come out of the woodwork to yell into the FBI tip lines about their psychic visions. Big air quotes on psychic visions. For example, in Washington, D.C., when intern Chandra Levy went missing On May 1st in 2001, psychics from around the world provided tips. I can't imagine how many tips the FBI got, but people were calling in from all over the world suggesting that her body would be found in places such as the basement of a Smithsonian storage building, the Potomac River, buried in the Nevada desert, just like all these random fucking things.
Yeah.
And of course, each tip really led nowhere. A little more than a year after her disappearance, her body was found accidentally by a man walking his dog in Rock Creek Park. And I'll say this again later, but when law enforcement gets a million tips like this, like when a huge case like this is in the media and people call in with all these like, wrong tips, wrong information, it takes resources and time away from investigators, because they have to go down the rabbit hole with some of these tips, because they have to follow up on anything that sounds plausible. Like I said in the beginning, there's stuff that is off the charts, batshit, but sometimes they do still have to follow up on it. But, sometimes some of it's so mundane that they're like, okay, it doesn't even matter. Just the volume of calls, just the like admin aspect of it is time consuming. And another high-profile example of a high-profile case was the disappearance of Elizabeth Smart.
Oh, yeah.
When she went missing in June of 2002, the police received as many as 9,000 tips from psychics and other people saying they had visions and dreams, and that was their source of their information. And so responding to these tips took, quote, many police hours, according to Salt Lake City Police Chief Lieutenant Chris Burbank. And Elizabeth Smart's dad Ed Smart said, the family did not get any valuable information from psychics. And Elizabeth Smart...
no duh.
Yeah, no fucking shit. And Elizabeth Smart was found because, people out on the street, just like observant people recognized her abductor from a police photograph.
Yeah.
And no psychic was ever credited with finding Elizabeth Smart, period.
Oh, my God. Sylvia Browne had... She had, like, tips for both these, too, and they turned out to be wrong.
Of course she did.
Yeah. She had lots to say about both these cases as well.
And she got a platform to say them on, which is just
which is
so
such a mess.
Ridiculous.
But that's fucking... This is the thing that, like, really grinds my gears or whatever, is, like, the 9,000 tips that they have to fucking wade through that are garbage. 9,000 psychic tips. I had a dream. This is what happened in my dream. Fucking, you don't even know her, and you live in, you live across the country. Like, it's so wild to me. It's just like, oh God, what a waste of time and resources. The hubris,
the ego, the desire to insert yourself into something that is very serious, very emotional.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not like a lover of law enforcement by any means, but like you gotta let detectives do their jobs.
Well, and it's not about them. It's about the families who are missing. Exactly. It's all, the time is valuable because it's a moment that could be important to like cracking this case. So it's not even about the law enforcement.
Right.
It's like, this is all mucking up a reunion of like a kid and their family, or or a person and their loved ones, or whatever.
Or if there is like credible information out there, how it's got to filter through all this shit first. You know what I mean? Like, it's getting like everything gets muddled when you like throw a bunch of, when you flood the zone with shit. So
it's just so.
I know, it's very upsetting.
It's so upsetting.
So, but I still want to believe. I still wish that like this was a real thing. So I still am like wondering, are psychics real? And who's to say?
I am.
There's definitely been some compelling cases, for sure, but these are extremely rare. Like where it's just like
a coincidence.
Yeah, maybe a broken clock can be
Right.
Like, but it's like very specific shit where it's like there's no fucking way. Like all the information seems like, but even in the most compelling cases, once all the facts come out and once you read past the clickbaity headlines of whatever media is reporting on it, like so many newspapers, once they find out that a psychic has been involved in a police investigation, they're going to like write a ton of headlines and like copy and paste whatever bullshit information somebody's putting out there. But if you read past all that and like actually find the facts, it turns out that the psychic is not as magical as people want to believe. So the reason psychics seem so real and seem to be like finding all these like crazy coincidences or whatever that people or are finding things that are missing from a seasoned police detective's investigation is because of confirmation bias. Usually it's our natural tendency to favor information to confirm our beliefs. Also could be wishful thinking, which is the act of making decisions based upon what is appealing rather than reasoned. Magical thinking or wishful thinking is, it's much more preferable to reality sometimes. And making decisions based upon, what you want rather than what is real is
like what you want to be real versus
people watch too many movies. Really.
Yeah.
And then what also happens is a thing called retrofitting, which is this is like a tactic that psychics use. It's retroactively refining specifics of a prediction after the facts are revealed. So it's it's like selective.
In hindsight, you could look back and be like, "Oh, look, and weren't these things connected and this?" And you're like, "Well, they weren't at the time, but I guess if you look backwards, yeah."
And so the act of reinterpreting vague and nebulous statements made by psychic detectives is also referred to as the multiple out, because you could make anything fit into your narrative if you just cherry pick like facts.
Yeah.
And which is why like I think
like this podcast.
Yeah.
No.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I was going to say, it's just like watching the news and being like savvy about, media and understanding like, okay, what is being told to me is like very,
it's crafted.
It's very crafted.
Yeah.
So also like psychics take advantage of all these like cognitive limitations, I guess. And they practice something called cold reading, which creates the illusion of knowing specific information. It's just like it's like a con man's
that's what this is. They're all grifters.
Yeah.
Have you ever met a psychic that isn't like a celebrity psychic that like doesn't live in a dusty ass studio apartment like like with like 30 cats and is just like a fucking grifter? Like that's like the trope, of
what is
a
wrong
medium.
with having 30 cats first
It's
of all?
too many cats. It's too many cats for a studio apartment. You live in a fucking barn or something,
it's
fine.
rude to
have
the
30
cats.
cats. Yeah, but listen, 30 cats in a studio apartment, and the curtains are closed and they're just eating like dry cereal out of a dirty bowl. I feel like there's like a trope and you're just like, this doesn't make sense. Why don't all psychics have like wonderful, luxurious lives if they can like predict the future?
That's the thing. I think if you use your intuition to better your own life, you're going to be okay.
Well, it's probably like they would probably tell you like, well, I can't choose what I see. But then it's like, you can, because you're going and talking to this person and you're telling them exactly what they want to hear. Like, you're reaching their loved one. But if you can't, like, how does that work? Whatever. I'm in the weeds. I'm in the weeds.
Well, and you know, police detectives and other authors say that psychic detectives appear successful due to making common sense or high probability predictions.
Yeah.
Such as finding bodies at dump sites or quote unquote near water is what a lot of, you know.
Yeah, where they dump bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Again, a broken clock can be right twice. And, you know, people have seen way too many movies and are just taking a lot of tropes from what they've seen and what they want to, I don't know. It's just.
Yeah. It's so silly.
I don't know. I
predict some fucking cool shit, you know?
I was reading an interview with a pretty famous psychic. Well, he's like on the more famous side, I guess. His name is Troy. What's his last name? It's a Vice
psychic.
Yeah, Troy Griffin.
Oh,
I was reading a Vice article with him, and it's so much vagary, so much like
of course.
It's just like seems respectful of, you know, law enforcement and families and their wishes, but it's also just like
you have to be.
You're still trying to like make a buck from this.
Yeah.
You know,
this is what I was just gonna say. You have to be nice and respectful and like really turn it on for all these families and shit, because otherwise they don't want you there. Mm-hmm. Like you have to cultivate a positive experience and kind of tell them things that they want to hear, and that's what you're intuiting. You know, it's like you're kind of. They're probably really good at reading people's faces and their body language so that they can kind of adjust with what. Like with the story they're weaving, you know what I mean? So that it's like,
well, a lot of this information on his website is like, it's actually like pretty, it's not like, a lot of it is not, a lot of the information he does give to families is not like positive sometimes. Like he'll be like, he already like, he primes the pump to be like, don't, like, I'm sorry, you might not hear things that you want to hear. You know, you're going to hear things that you might not want to hear. You're going to, you know, maybe you're going to be disappointed. Like, it's just like, I don't know.
That's fair. But this is the thing. Because, like, the Melissa Joan Hart one, I'll just talk about it for a second. Mm-hmm. I think what the guy was doing really well was reading emotion. So you're able to quickly see if you struck a nerve. And the thing about people who have lost a loved one is all that stuff is raw. So it's coming up easier. You're not talking to someone about fucking, and I think I think someday you might pick these lottery numbers or whatever, like something very benign. You're like, okay, and this person who you loved that was probably like a close relative or a husband or a kid or whatever, you know, your kid you lost or your parent or whatever. And so all of a sudden all your emotions come online, and then they can like they can tell if things aren't resonating with you, and they'll go, okay, well maybe that's nothing. And then they'll like quickly try and find something else. It's so manipulative. It's so gross. And it just makes me wonder, like, are these people like sociopaths?
I think so. I think a lot of them are.
Right?
I think a lot of them are
because they're so good at reading people.
And this is the thing. It's like you could just be a salesman or you know, literally anything else. You don't need to like insert yourself into anybody's life. Like, be a good friend to the people in your life. Like,
you could just be a good friend.
You could just be a good friend. You could be a good partner. You could be, you know, go out and like network and make, you know, connections, like whatever. If you
be a TED talker.
Yeah. If you're really like doing this for the good of everybody, like, go get a real job. Go like be a you know, a motivational speaker, or
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
or like, you know, go do something where you can,
a career coach.
Scratch this itch of yours. A career coach. Yes. 100%. Because on this guy's website, he like talks, it's not just about like finding, missing people. It's, or talking to families that have missing relatives. It's like anything, and so it's like, okay, this guy like could just be a life coach and, and tap into that kind of common sense vein and read people's emotions, whatever. And make these connections, but also like if you really feel the need to like help people, like you wouldn't be charging people for it. You wouldn't be trying to make a buck off of it. You wouldn't like seek media for it,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's weird. I don't know. I know that it's a very popular job. I know, lots of people believe it and go to it. I think, obviously I think it's all dumb and I don't really have any interest in it. But if people want to believe in that stuff, like good for them. I mean, I would never like change my life based on anything a psychic told me. But if you need like a little bit of pep in your step and some motivation to get out there and, live your life, like sure, like let them tell you that something good's gonna happen to you or whatever. Like, well, whatever.
Because a lot of times they're telling you something you already know innately about whatever it is, whatever situation. They're not going to tell you 100% accuracy anything about your life.
No.
They're gonna hit on some stuff maybe that's like pretty like close to home for sure. And but a lot of that is again confirmation bias, magical thinking, common sense, and just if something seems out of left field, like they're probably wrong, but also like, maybe it's something that is subconscious that you aren't even paying attention to about yourself, but somebody who is a third party observer can see that shit.
That's what I was just going to say, dude. Mm-hmm. Like, I think the thing that's helpful, and it is in like a career coach vibe, is if you're going, like, I know like Whitney Cummings is a comedian. I think I read her book and like she talked about there's like a famous like medium or whatever psychic in LA that like a lot of celebs go to or whatever. She's like really hard to get into. And I think the purpose of that is to have someone tell you maybe something you haven't thought of, like a path or something that like you didn't think of. And it's just because you're kind of closed off, and the purpose is to kind of open you up to other possibilities, which is very hard to do on your own, like sometimes you do need a little bit of a push to have someone kind of like turn you a little bit to be like, hey, look, like this could be a potential path. And you're like, oh my God, I didn't even think that these could come together in that way. So that's where I'm like, okay, it's entertainment. That's what it is. It's entertainment. And I think as long as everyone understands that and it's like a fun little thing and you're not fucking making huge life decisions or inundating a tip line with garbage that you get from that, then I think, fine, what's the harm? Everyone's adults. Do whatever the fuck you want.
But when it comes to helping a family locate the body of their loved one that they think is missing, just leave that shit to the professionals. Like
the actual professionals.
Stay out of it.
Yeah.
Don't hire a psychic either. Like you're going to set yourself up for disappointment. Again, I'm going to say my motto.
Yep.
Manage your expectations and you'll never be disappointed. If I go missing, do not hire a psychic to look for me.
Hire a fucking PI. That's where you go. That's what you do. That's where you put your money.
I mean, maybe I want to just stay missing,
Oh.
I'd rather.
We're going to have to leave behind a sign of some kind. Like a note that says, don't come find me.
Yeah. No, I just, I don't want to joke about that because it's serious, but like, I the shit is fucked up on a lot of levels. I just think that There's a lot of ego involved. There's a lot of look, if somebody has a real ability that is like beyond anything that's like can be explained, great. You know, God bless. I hope they're out there doing the best work possible. Yeah. But also I don't know.
But they're not.
But they're well, you never know. You never know. I will always leave room. I'll always leave an open door. I'll always leave an open mind for everything. Yeah. But this, for the most part, historically, it is a bad time for everybody. So,
yeah. Well, and we'll get more into, I think, in our Patreon episode about like how a lot of these like celebrity and like well-known mediums exploit people. So we'll get more into that. But as far as them helping the police goes, they don't.
If anything, they hurt the investigation because
they muck it up. They're like a fucking fatberg in the pipeline of detective work.
Yep. There has been many documented cases of psychic mediums getting involved in a case, like hired by a family, and they lead police on a wild goose chase. They'll be like, look over here in this area, or this happened, I think, maybe. Yeah. And it'll take time and resources away from the investigation. So
she loved to run. She's at a Dick's Sporting Goods in their shoe department. Go! And then they get there and they're like, she's not here.
If anybody ever says that's like a psychic about me, that I love to run, they're full of shit.
They're full of shit, yeah.
And
no, that's a red flag.
It's a red flag, yeah.
Listen, if I'm ever missing, you know where I am? I'm at like a fucking charcuterie restaurant. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm at like a fucking charcuterie restaurant in Vegas and I have pasta on the way.
Yeah. Or you're in New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm in New Orleans. Yeah. At like live, listening to live music. Probably drinking a hurricane.
Yeah.
And also 100%. Eating charcuterie.
Yeah, also eating charcuterie. Yeah. That's right.
I made pasta for lunch today. I fucking cut up some salami and I put it in the pan. It got all hot and it like released its fat. It like rendered the fat. And then I threw some tomatoes in and some arugula. And then I mixed in the pasta and it made like this like sauce, you know, like with some pasta water. Yeah, my ancestors were smiling on me. And then I put fucking grated Parmesan cheese all over it. It was the fucking best pasta. I don't even follow recipes anymore. I just go...
Oh, I never
just channel it like a medium. I just go, ancestors, show me the way. And then I go, yeah, bitch, I made this. They told me what to put in here.
Just keep splashing pasta water in there.
Yeah. And cheese. Pasta water and Parmesan. Ooh, what else do you need? And butter, you know.
And butter, yeah. And cracked pepper.
And cracked pepper. There you go. That's the best kind of pasta. All right.
It's follow your intuition.
Yeah.
Go to our website. It's DTFUpodcast.com.
Follow your intuition to our website. Follow your intuition to our online store where you can buy a favorite things mug. It'll hold all your hopes and dreams. Not your butthole, but it does say butthole on the side. Erin's really hamming it up if you're not watching the video. She's just... Oh, and today we have Erin Saul from the podcast DTFU modeling our favorite things mug. Wow. It's so pleasing. It's so... Oh, ooh. Oh, is the liquid hot? It can be hot or cold. Blow on it. It's too hot. Oh, my God.
I'm done.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Website, patreon.com/DTFU podcast. Social medias.
Yeah. At DTFU podcast everywhere. Yeah. And hey, listen here. Be excellent to yourselves.
And each other.
Bye.
Bye.